Imagine being so desperate for attention and relevancy, you go ahead and be racist. Nick Cannon's been fired from Viacom, his shows Wild and Out, and Masked Singer because of some racist statements he's been saying. If you don't know what's going on yet, Nick Cannon yesterday basically went on a racist spiel about why black people show more compassion than white people due to the sun, I guess. I'm black, if you can't tell, and I found this video pretty disgusting, so you guys are gonna watch me react to it. It's a lot. Let's watch the video.
And when we talk about the power of melanated people, when we talk about who we really are as guys and
Right.
understanding that our melanin is so power and it connects us in a way.
I don't know about you, but I generally don't feel connected to someone because we have the same skin color, because that's racist.
That the reason why they fear black, the reason why they fear is because the lack that they have of it.
Being afraid to have light skin, I sure hope he's not insinuating that it's a superior quality to be dark. Spoiler alert, that's exactly what he's insinuating.
So then when you see what, Dr. Francis C. Welsing talked about is that fear and
just genetic annihilation.
Jesus Christ, my ears. Genetic annihilation. Wait, I don't really think she's a credible source, because didn't she say that black gay men only existed so that white people keep repopulating and cause genetic annihilation? Ah, yes, here it is.
Efficiency of when you have a person that has the lack of pigment, the lack of melanin, that they know that they will be annihilated.
Okay, so in that respects, who's annihilating them? Who would be doing that? I mean, black people would be annihilating them? That one race would be trying to annihilate another? That sounds really familiar.
So therefore, however they got the power, they have the lack of compassion.
What?
Compassion.
What?
Compassion.
Oh, okay, you're racist.
And that melanin comes with compassion.
No, morals come with compassion, not your skin.
Melanin comes with soul.
Oh no, that's morals too.
That we call it soul. We soul brothers and sisters. That's the melanin that connects us.
Right.
So the people that don't have it are a little, and I'm gonna say this carefully.
It's funny to be intolerant.
Are a little less.
What?
Less.
What did you say again?
Less.
Okay, so it's Nick Cannon, people with white skin are less.
And where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister Farrakhan.
No, get ready. He's bringing it back around. He's gonna bring the receipts.
To where they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus.
No one was ever exiled to those mountains. Throughout thousands of years, people have been finding new places to set up settlements. Still travel through thousands of years of evolution is not the same thing like how British people sent their prisoners to Australia and then they eventually set up camps and turned into villages that turned into towns and cities. It's not the same thing.
When they didn't have the power of the sun, that the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear, they're acting out of low self-esteem, they're acting out of a deficiency.
Basically, he's saying because some people, left Africa and immigrated into other countries and other spaces, they didn't get enough of the sun, their skin didn't darken, they didn't get black features, they're deficient in skin color, they don't have melanin, why they're not compassion, and why they're less than black people. The truth is that you think that they're deficient. You think that they're deficient because of the color of their skin.
So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight,
in order to survive.
What's scary about this is that there are people out here saying that this is not racist behavior. He literally said that the only way white people are surviving in society is by raping, killing, stealing. If you don't see something wrong with that, then I do not know what to tell you. People are trying to make the excuse that he's only referring to people who have horribly and unfairly colonized countries like America. But it doesn't just stop there. He's literally generalizing an entire race. He said that if you don't have melanin, you're naturally savage, that you rape, that you kill, that you don't have compassion. How much clearer could it get?
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people.
Right.
they had to be savages. Such a horrible take on like territorial takeover. Sometimes they will use a specific race, a specific target to become more powerful. Yes, that's true. And it's not just white people, it's everyone. But people didn't just take over races because they're like, oh, I feel so insecure about myself. It wasn't insecurity. There are things like gold. There are things like oil, just new lands. Yeah, there are racist people. There are racist white people. But whites went to war with whites. Blacks went to war with whites. Blacks went to war with blacks. It wasn't always racially motivated.
They had to be barbaric. Because they're in these Nordic mountains. They're in these rough, torrential environments. So they're acting as animals.
Right.
So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals.
Barbaric. You know, I don't think it was just white people who have been or are barbaric. Why don't we take a look at what people in Africa are doing to each other?
In South Africa is becoming a common occurrence with no end in sight. But the country's police minister insists the attacks aren't racially motivated, rather the work of opportunists.
For me, it's pure criminality, people looting and all that, and using that as a xenophobia. But for now, there is nothing that has sparked any form of this conflict between South Africans and the foreign nationals. So we're dealing with criminality rather than xenophobia at the present moment.
Oh, so even places like South Africa have problems of barbaricness and being criminals. Just like he said, it had nothing to do with xenophobia, it had nothing to do with foreigners, which really says something because South Africa has had a long problem with xenophobia and foreigners. And I have a feeling people are going to challenge me by saying, oh, but Africa's had to deal with colonization and white people coming in. So I found an example of untouched societies, places that have been untouched by white people, just to show you that barbaricness can happen anywhere to anyone, no matter the race, no matter the touch of the sun.
Is a violent tradition of fierce combat between young men who fight with 2-meter-long sticks. The battle, while often being bloody, can even result in death. This event marks a coming of age for young Suri men who aim to prove their masculinity and impress women of the region.
And I also found this video of South Africans attacking black immigrants.
Many foreign nationals from the African continent flooding to South Africa. And why are South Africans killing so many black foreign immigrants, looting their shops, and calling many of these black immigrants criminals in their country?
Please, Nick Cannon, please continue about saying that it's just because white people are jealous because their skin isn't dark. You're a joke, man.
They're the ones that are actually the true savages, and then they built up such this I don't want to say warrior, but they built up such this conquering barbaric mentality that they're coming out of Europe. They then said, in order for us to survive, we have to take what's not ours. And then they went into the land that actually where we are originated, and instead of trying to make friends, they said, we want what you got, because there's this mentality of whether it's the Caesars or even that we have to conquer.
And here he goes, literally explaining the mentality of every single group of people, no matter what race it was, trying to take over a different country throughout time. Every single person, every single group of people have done this.
Right.
So I say all that to say the context, and when we speak of whether it's Jewish people, white people, Europeans.
I just want to say something about this. You know how he just mentioned Jewish people? That right there. Just because he mentioned Jewish people in that one sentence, all of the headlines say he's being anti-Semitic. The news outlets did not have a problem with him saying anything about the white people, because that's pretty much all who he was talking about. No, they didn't say a word about that. They only said it was a problem because he then included Jews into the bunch, and now it's anti-Semitic. But, you know, just talking about white people as racist in general, that doesn't matter. But as soon as he mentioned Jew, then it was a problem. Freaking world we live in right now.
The Illuminati, they were doing that as survival tactics
Right.
to stay on this planet.
Right, because
we never had to do that.
Right, because they've learned when they circumnavigated the globe and they ran into these islands and these places, and we were already there to greet them.
Right. With open arms.
With open arms, teaching them, but then
But
when
they were deficient.
They were deficient, so they wanted to get what they thought we had, and we did have it. So the rape took place of the woman. The theft took place of the natural resources.
And then that's when their disease,
Exactly.
that's where their mentality, because I'm trying to get to that place of how they were able to get control over the gods.
Guess we're all diseased then, everyone.
How are they able to get control
okay,
over
so
their
once they
original
learned that, though, and now they raped and impregnated, left and came back, and they saw the child lighter, they said, wow, that's when they learned
is how
genetics. Genetic annihilation.
So now there's an implication that mixed race kids are a product of genetic annihilation. So I guess I'm a product of genetic annihilation. I guess Mariah Carey's a product of genetic annihilation. Okay. Oh, and before I go, I have one more video I would just love to show you.
Because I'm the racist.
You're the racist.
I'm very racist. I'm blatantly
Please tell us
racist.
what happened.
Example. I've never heard someone so proud of it before.
I am
but-
proud to be racist.
Okay.